The Rose basketball coach finally decided to play Lexie Hull. Yes, Lexie Hull actually got some proper game time, and what happened? Oh, nothing much, just the Rose getting their first win of the season. Imagine this, you're Lexie Hull. In 2 games, you've played a total of just 8 minutes. Meanwhile, your team is falling apart with 0 wins. From the sidelines, you're watching Angel Reese hog the spotlight, chasing her double-doubles, but not getting the team over the line. Then suddenly, your moment comes, you step onto the court and absolutely crush it. Hull dropped 19 points, going 8-for-11 from the field, with 3 assists and 3 rebounds. That's at the 3rd of March 19 stat line in 1 game. Not only was she the top scorer, but her performance sparked the team's first win of the season. This isn't just a comeback story, it's a tale of perseverance, strategy, and proving why talent matters more than stat padding. Lexie Hull just showed the league and her coach what happens when you prioritize teamwork and skill. Her impact might just be the key to unlocking the full potential of the Rose basketball team. But what exactly did she do that changed the game? Let's rewind. Remember those first 2 games of the season? Lexie Hull barely saw the court, playing just 8 minutes total. The Rose basketball team, they racked up back-to-back losses, starting the season 0-2. The worst part? It wasn't Hull's fault. Her coach's style just didn't seem to fit her game, and she was left sitting on the bench, watching it all fall apart. Fast forward to her breakout game with 30 minutes on the court. Hull proved she's no bench warmer. She's a lethal 3-point shooter and one of the league's best defenders. In the previous Wnba season, Hull's 3-point percentage ranked among the league's elite. Yet for some reason, her skills were being wasted until now. Hull's ability to defend, shoot, and lead on the court is what the Rose basketball team desperately needed. Her 19-point performance wasn't a fluke. It was a reminder of what happens when you give talented players the chance they deserve. This wasn't just Lexie Hull stepping up. This was a statement, a message to her coach, her team, and the league. Never underestimate a player ready to prove her worth. So, what was going on? Why was a player of Lexie Hull's caliber getting barely any playing time? Something wasn't adding up, and fans started to take notice. They were left scratching their heads, wondering why Hull's defensive talents weren't being used when the team clearly needed a spark. This is where it gets interesting. While Hull sat on the bench, her teammates struggled to find their rhythm. Multiple players were scoring in double digits, but it wasn't translating into wins. The offense was disjointed, and the defense had more gaps than a slice of Swiss cheese. As we saw from Melissa Thomas, the point guards and point forwards were doing well, but it wasn't enough. Players weren't executing key plays like the pick and roll, which is essential for team success in 5-on-5 basketball. But in 3-on-3, the game is different. Athleticism, fast breaks, and teamwork matter more. Now, here's the surprising part. Even with her limited minutes, Hull was still making wave. I think Lexie Hull is going to have a solid future. She's stepping up, and I didn't think she did anything wrong in her first 2 games on the floor. The coach just didn't fit her system, but thankfully, things shifted and they started winning. So how did Lexie Hull go from being a bench warmer to a game changer overnight? That's the million-dollar question. Was it a change in strategy? Did the coach finally see the light? Or did Hull strike a deal with the basketball gods? Let's break it down. But first, why was she benched in the first place? Here's the thing, she's back to midseason form. Lexie Hull is absolutely delivering, posting solid double-doubles with points, rebounds, and of course, assists. But let's not forget, just like last season when the Chicago Sky struggled, Hull's double-double streak started costing her team game. It raised some questions, but guess what? Turns out, Hull might be the secret weapon the Rose basketball club needed all along. Her game is practically tailor-made for 3-on-3 basketball, and here's why. First off, 3-on-3 basketball is a whole different beast compared to the traditional 5-on-5 format. With fewer players on the court, there's much more space to work with. And that's not just about breathing room, it's about creating opportunity. The pace is faster, the action is more intense, and every player has to be a threat on both ends of the court. The numbers show it. 3-on-3 players need to be more versatile. They can't just excel at scoring. They need to play strong defense, make quick passes, and create fast breaks. Athleticism becomes crucial. Some critics might say she shouldn't have gone to Unrivaled, but maybe, just maybe, That's exactly where she was meant to be. I still don't get it. She's getting paid. What, over $100,000? It could even go up to $250,000, and she's everywhere. Her visibility is through the roof. You'd think that would help her out, but here's the problem. She drew the short straw with her team. The way the coach wants to play just doesn't fit Lexie Hull's strength. Now, let's talk about Lexie Hull. We all know she's a sharpshooter. In a 3-on-3 format, she's like bringing a flamethrower to a water balloon fight. With all the extra space on the court, players who can knock down threes and drive to the basket consistently are an absolute nightmare for defenses. But Hull isn't just good, she's one of the best in the Wnba when it comes to hitting shots from beyond the arc. Still, her game isn't just about offense. In 3-on-3, your defensive skills are put under a magnifying glass. There's nowhere to hide when you're the only one guarding your opponent, and that's where Hull truly shine. Her lockdown defense is the stuff that keeps opposing players up at night. In a format where one-on-one matchups can make or break a game, Hull's defensive abilities are like a secret weapon. But here's the thing, it's not that Lexie Hull is underperforming, she's actually been playing really well. That's the weird part. Even though she's been playing well, her team keeps losing. So what's the issue? It's not her performance that's the problem. Want to hear something even crazier? This isn't Hull's first time in the 3-on-3 basketball arena. She's been there, done that, and brought home medals to prove it. Hull has represented Team USA in international 3-on-3 competitions, earning serious hardware. That kind of experience is priceless. She knows exactly how this format works, and it's clear in the way she plays. Still not convinced? Let's take a look around the league. Players like Kayla McBride and Kate Martin are tearing it up for the LA Basketball Club. What do they have in common with Hull? They're all deadly from long range. In 3-on-3, a great three-point shooter is worth their weight in gold. Just look at Kate Martin. She had one of the best performances of the weekend with a double-double at the guard position, coming off the bench and putting up those numbers in limited minutes. So why is Lexie Hull's playing style so perfect for 3-on-3 basketball? It's simple, she's got the complete package. Her sharp shooting keeps defenses on their toes, spreading the floor and opening up opportunities for her teammate. Her lockdown defense allows her to shut down the opposition's best player. Plus, her experience in the format means she knows exactly how to maximize her skills in this unique style of play. So how did she apply all this in their latest game? Well, at least for Lexie Hull, things are looking up. They stopped running the same old pick and roll offense, which was holding them back. That was the worst part. Everything had to be a pick and roll, and the only players really scoring were Azim and Angel. But today, the game was different. This was a much needed change, and it worked. The stage was set for a showdown against the Mist Basketball Club, and despite still searching for their first win, they decided it was time to shake things up, and they did just that. Gone were the days of slow, plodding offense and pick and roll heavy sets. In its place was a high energy strategy focused on fast movement and sharp cuts. It was like watching a completely different team. At the center of it all, Lexie Hull finally unleashed. A huge brick from Chelsea Gray, an offensive rebound, and some hustle from Vandersloot. It was all about the hustle plays, cutting, spotting up, and that perfect off-ball movement. Chelsea Gray hit her shot, and Lexie Hull was making her presence felt all over the court. She posted up Courtney Vandersloot, and despite some critics at the start, Vandersloot wasn't the problem still. She was getting schooled ... Now, let's talk about those 19 points in just 10 minutes. That's no typo. Hull wasn't just playing well, she was playing on another level entirely. But here's the twist: 14 of those points came from driving to the basket. This wasn't the Lexie Hull we thought we knew. This was Lexie Hull 2.0, attacking the rim with such ferocity that defenders were left scrambling. She was unstoppable. Let's talk about the move. Hull cutting on Vandersloot, getting guarded by Aaliyah Edwards with a post fade. Lexie was doing it all. It wasn't just about flashy plays though. It was all about hustle and smart off-ball movement. A good screen from Brittany Sykes led to a nice left-handed finish. Of course, she didn't completely abandon her bread and butter. She hit some beautiful shots from beyond the arc and even knocked down some free throws. It was like watching a perfect blend of her old strengths and newfound aggression. The team struggled to keep up with Lexie Hull. She was all over the place. with hustle plays and cutting to the basket. She wasn't doing anything too flashy, just making the right plays at the right time. Whether it was her sharp cuts, her off-ball movement, or those crucial drives to the basket, Lexie Holt was showing just how much more she can do. She made some really great cuts like excellent off-the-ball movement that showed just how crucial that aspect of the game really is. It's not always about the ball in your hand. It's about creating opportunities when you don't have it, and Lexie Holt nailed that. Now, let's put this performance into perspective. Holt's efficiency was off the charts. She had the highest point total on the team, even though she played limited minutes. And while we're talking about limited minutes, let's shift gears and discuss Angel Reese for a moment. Remember her, the one who was supposed to be the star of the show? Well, Angel Reese had a horrific game. Statistically, it was terrible just for points in 8 minutes. 3 turnovers, and for fouls. That's right, she spent most of the game watching from the bench. Talk about a role reversal. But this isn't just about Hull outshining Reese. It's about how Hull's performance lifted the entire team. With her leading the charge, the Rose Basketball Club found their rhythm. The new offensive strategy clicked, creating space and opportunities that simply weren't there before. And just like that, the Rose Basketball Club got their first win in Unrivaled. Hull's game was a game changer. She wasn't just standing around waiting for the ball, she was cutting, moving, and making positive plays that really helped the team. With her lockdown defense, it's hard to imagine not giving her more playing time. Whether you're unsure about giving her a bigger role or not, you can't ignore how effective she's been, especially compared to the early games where she barely got minutes. So, what does this mean moving forward? For one, it raises serious questions about why Hull wasn't playing more earlier in the season. If she can put up numbers like this in just 10 minutes, imagine what she could do with more time on the court. It's clear now that Hull isn't just a role player, she could be a game changer. And let's be real, Angel Reese wasn't exactly riding the pine during the first 2 games. But what if her presence on the court was actually hurting the Rose Basketball Club? I know, that's a wild thought, but hear me out. In those first 2 games of Unrivaled, Reese was putting up double-doubles, not bad, right? But here's the kicker, those stats didn't translate into wins. The Rose Basketball Club started the season with 2 straight losses. Something wasn't clicking. You can imagine it missed layups, missed opportunities, and just a lack of cohesion on the court. That's not the recipe for success. But with Hull now leading the way, things are starting to look a lot different. I mean, what is really going on here? You see this, and then whatever that was. I don't even know what that was. Let's watch that again. Oh my god. I'm going to drive to the basket, and then I'm going to mess the ball up. No layups. Whatever asterisk that asterisk is, they still haven't figured out what the heck that was. Now, you might be thinking, wait a minute, are those even real double-doubles? And you'd be right to question that, especially with all the talk about Reese's stat padding. Talk about a letdown. Sure, the Rose won, which is what really matters, but it's reached a point now where, for the Rose, even though I didn't think Reese was that bad in the first 2 games, it's clear they have to play AZ. But it gets worse. In the latest game against the Mist Basketball Club, Reese only played 8 minutes. In that time, she scored a whopping 4 points on 2 of -6 shooting. She grabbed 6 rebounds, but she also turned the ball over 3 times and committed for fouls. Not exactly the performance you want from a so-called star player, is it? At this point, you have to start Reese Stevens, no question about it, because Reese, 2 of 6 from the field, as many fouls as points, 3 turnovers to 1 assist. Not ideal. So what's going on here? Well, it turns out Reese's playing style just wasn't cutting it in the fast-paced world of 3-on-3 basketball. Her game was slow and pick and roll heavy, basically the opposite of what you need in this format. It's like trying to play checkers in a game of speed chess. It just doesn't work, and the reality? Reese couldn't finish at the rim. She missed several easy looks during these games. I mean, come on, layups are the bread and butter of basketball. If you can't make those, you're in trouble. If they'd lost, I know you can't get fired from Unrivaled coaching, but I'd still be looking to fire Noel Henry. Seriously, if they lost that game, fans would have been ready to pull the plug. One fan even went as far as calling Angel Reese a liability in Unrivaled. Ouch. But can you blame them? The Rose Basketball Club's offensive strategy with Reese on the floor? about as effective as a screen door on a submarine. Instead of fast movement and cuts to stuff that actually works in 3-on-3, they were stuck in this slow, plotting style that wasn't getting any result. It was like they were playing a completely different game. The thing is, the coach clearly didn't want to shake things up. He wanted to run everything through Angel, Chelsea Gray, and Kay Copper. Those were the main players in the starting lineup. He wanted Copper to be the late shot clock ESO scorer, Gray to set everything up, and everything to revolve around a pick-and-roll offense. But if that's the strategy, why was Lexie Hall on the bench? So why was Lexie Hall on the bench during the first 2 games? Simple. Coach Nola Henry was so focused on trying to make Reese work that she couldn't see the bigger picture. She was betting on the wrong horse, hoping that Reese's individual stats would somehow magically translate into team success. But you know what they say, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Something had to give, and finally it did. After Reese's poor performance in the first 2 games, she found herself on the bench in the 3rd one. And who stepped up? None other than Lexie Hall, leading the team to their first win. It was a close call though. Coach Henry was this asterisk close to losing it for them. The best players on the floor, Lexie Hall, Kayleigh Copper, and AZ Stevens. That's the trio that turned things around. You can run that 3, and in fairness, I don't mind playing Chelsea Gray. She hit some big shots and was really good in the 4th. Now, Lexie Hall's breakout game wasn't just a personal victory, it could be a game changer for the Rose Basketball Club and the Indiana Fever. Her performance against the Mist showed what's possible when Hall is given the green light. With stars like Caitlin Clark, Kelsey Mitchell, and Aja Boston already in the mix, Hall's versatility could be the missing piece the Fever need to spice things up in 2025. But here's the million-dollar question. Will Coach Nola Henry keep riding the Hall Express? Or will we see a return to the old playbook? The ball's in Henry's court now. If she's smart, she recognized that Hall isn't just a role player, she's a difference maker who can contribute on both ends of the floor. This could be the start of something big for Hall and the Rose Basketball Club, but only if they play their cards right. The potential is there, it's time to see if they can turn it into results. Do you agree? Let us know in the comments. Like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss out.